All right, let's do this thing. Are books even worth reading? Is anything even worth doing? We'll get to those questions later. First thing I'll say is this: read books or don't. But believe me when I say this, your decision will not affect my sleep schedule. So supposedly 42% of American college graduates never read another book after graduating, which is a pretty convincing argument against books. Or if not books, then probably against college. That's what the internet says anyway, the 42% stat, I mean. Not that it's a convincing argument against reading or college. I'm operating under the assumption that this stat is true. But the reality is, who knows what's real? I didn't poll a bunch of college graduates. Who knows what isn't true? What am I supposed to do? Just trust some stranger? Most of the time, the way it feels to me is that the pain of existence clouds my vision. 42% real? Fake? What do I look like? A personal investigator? Who cares about facts? All I know is that my water is running, the lights are on, and my iPhone works. So anyways, 42% of college graduates don't read another book post-graduation. Again, if true, probably not the best stat line for books or colleges or Americans. So my goal for this video is that if I can break things down well enough, maybe you'll be more likely to develop a reading habit out of sheer boredom. Maybe you read, maybe you don't. Who am I to say what you do? I'm just babbling into the void, and we'll see if I get any bites, any nibbles. At the time of this video's recording, we have admittedly very few nibbles, but nevertheless, I'm here casting my line into these dark waters. So yeah, I'm hoping that somehow what I say can be helpful, and if not helpful in a way that directly applies to the act of reading, maybe I can crack enough jokes to help you momentarily forget that someday you're going to die. And there's a pretty significant chance that your death is going to be excruciatingly painful, or at the very least, uncomfortable. And probably when life gets hard, it would be good to have other stories to draw on than, pop culture shows or movies or whatever else it is that people will tend to pay attention to. Probably what's going to happen is the technology is going to continue to advance. Graphics will always be getting better, and what you love now will be cringe later. All right, so that being said, what even lasts? Well, some books do, also some paintings, hence all the paintings. So yeah, something to console your soul when the going gets tough. What I will say is that if it makes you feel any better, we're in this thing together. And if you roll with the punches long enough, odds are sooner or later there will be an uptick. Although it may admittedly be so brief that it slips like grains of sand through your hands, through your fingertips, before you've even realized what's happening. And consequently, you will not even have the opportunity to enjoy the good before it's gone. And that's because life tends to be a bummer. So yeah, odds are, though, things will not always be horrible. And that's worth remembering, because life is very hard. And when things get especially hard, time seems to last forever. And that is worth remembering. When life is hard, when the weight of existence has your battered and bruised body locked in a rear naked chokehold, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to tap? No, don't tap. Don't tap because I say so. Existence's rear naked chokehold has done too many of us in to get away with it. I told you, we are in this together. I'm not tapping, and that means you can't tap. But if not tap, what are you supposed to do? Some people watch Netflix, some people scroll through social media. People have all sorts of positive copes and negative copes. Some people lift weights or sit in the sun, and some people surrender to the voice telling them that everything is and has always been and will forever be horrible. But you can do something about that. But what should you do? I don't know. There are so few people that you should ever even consider asking that question to. Please be careful about who you say the words, "What should I do?" to. It is a dangerous question to ask. But one of the things you can definitely do is read great books. A great book is, generally speaking, a book that people have been reading for a long time. I'm talking decades, if not centuries, if not millennia. I don't care what anyone says, time tests quality. If 50 or 100 or 150 or 200 or 500 or 1,000 or many more thousands have passed and people are still reading a piece of writing, there's probably something to it, whether you want to admit it or not. And if you don't believe me, then you don't believe me. Like I said at the beginning of the video, should you have a negative response to my takes, the sleep schedule will be remaining intact. My point is this: do you know how hard it is to produce something that people want to pay attention to? And I'm not even talking after like a decade. There are millions of books published every year. There are millions of records that music companies put out. There are however many TV shows and movies and what have you that are released every year. And basically none of those things get any attention, and rightly so, because producing something of value is hard, because you could so easily end up investing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of hours into something you care a great deal about, and the empty and black void of existence could simply do nothing, not even laugh. All could just be silent. What's that you say? How do I know this? Just a feeling. All right, so here's what I'm saying. Read books that have stood the test of time and tune your consciousness into these stories that have nourished the human spirit for a significant amount of time. It isn't always easy, but you want to know something? Neither is contending with capital B being when you don't have access to the kinds of wisdom that people who were way smarter than you and me spent their entire lives working toward. Now, will reading solve all of your problems? It seems unlikely. Honestly, it might even make things worse, but it is, if nothing else, something to do. And isn't that what we're all here for? Aren't we all just looking for something to do? So pick up a book and exercise your brain, or don't. It really is not going to be the kind of thing that I stress out about, hopefully. I just think it would probably be a good thing if, when the going gets tough, you have stories to rely on that are strong enough to support you. Thanks for watching.